Guys, it's me and Jamie here, Riot Retro Gaming. I've got his Amiga 500 here. We're going to attempt to do a Gotek install today. Everyone knows what Gotek is, hopefully. So this replaces the floppy drive in the Amiga.
I've only just started learning it, but it's all new to me.
But this hangs out of your floppy drive to make it look like a floppy, so you don't have to hack the case. This would go into the floppy drive up to that point there, so that'll be hanging out. And what I've got to do is take the LCD display out of this and put it in there, so it's got to go in that slot. These header pins, they interface up to these LEDs, and that's for that LED there. But again, it's a bit complicated, you'll see in a bit. The USB obviously plugs into that there to extend it up to this. So it is quite straightforward. These are all labelled. I'll show you. That's why I'm using this camera. I know the other one's not too high res, but I'm using this one because it's, you can see what's what. You could probably pause that. I'm going to upload it to YouTube after I've finished. It's not a bad install. The only problem, if a beginner was going to do it, is taking these LEDs out and putting the header pins in here. There's header pins for them LEDs, and they've got to slide down and solder on, and it is a bit of a sod to do it. I'll try and get that on camera if I can. So there's 3 screws. I forgot about that one. 1 under there, 2 there.
Why do they stick labels on top of them then?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. So there you go. I'm going to see if this works first, like I say. So let me take this apart. Bear with us.
For years and years and years I've owned Amigas, and for years and years and years I've been using discs, but they're now starting to show age. A lot of my best ones don't work, and I've tried, well, I don't know if there is a way that you can fix discs. You can check them for errors,
No,
but
once they've had enough, they've had enough.
Yeah,
it's a shame because they're original discs as well.
Some games I've rebought again lately, and I've made a few backup copies, but this is the way forward, it seems. A lot of people are saying that this is what you're supposed to do, and it's so easy once you've set it up, of course.
Do you know what? I wouldn't do it. No. I wouldn't do it, to be honest, which sounds stupid how I've done the Gotek, but if discs were more reliable, I just wouldn't do it, because there's something about the old sounds and whirring and sticking a disc in. It's all part of the retro thing. Yeah. But I felt for you the other day, man, because it must be heartbreaking. Like one of the original games that just gone down.
Oh, it's been working for absolutely years since I was at primary school, and then all of a sudden, that's it. It's not going to work anymore, and it's just been sitting in a box. It hasn't been sitting there anything that like next to a radiator or anything stupid like that. It's just been sitting there, and all of a sudden, it's had enough. So there we go. This is, yeah. How does it look?
That really needs to come out.
Is that the Meg?
Yeah. That's destroying your...
Well, I actually took that out of my other Amiga. You mean that bit there?
Yeah, I'll sort that out later. So that's the dreaded Vata thing there. You probably can't see it, but I'll take this out.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony's mentioned this before, that, you know, if it's leaking, then that can obviously wreck other parts of the Amiga. I mean, it's that I've owned for so long, and I've never actually had to replace it. But
so he's got a leaky battery, so this is probably the real-time clock. You notice a switch on it, you can switch the real-time clock on and off. The green screen's cutting it out, because it's sort of chroma keyed into what we were doing before. But you can see it's messed up the tracks, and all the pins are a bit green there. So that battery needs to come off.
I thought that'd be really dusty in there. Not too bad.
Pretty good. That's pretty good, Nick.
Yeah. Good. You're good.
Caps look alright, they're not bulged.
So where's the caps?
Have you used this all the time since you've had this from way back when? Because normally when caps are being used, they're normally okay, but it's when they're not used they start leaking.
Well, this one I haven't had quite as long as my other one.
But normally when they leak, you can see dullness. But there's.
So where's the actual caps then?
That's what these are here.
All right.
So you would get dullness.
I thought they were like small little lithium batteries. That's what I expected them to look like.
No. You're probably going to get away with not recapping it today. He forgot his recapping kit, so we're not going to be recapping today.
I was too busy trying to focus on not forgetting anything else like this and that.
But there's plenty of videos on YouTube on how to recap these. So there's a S0 on the board. Make sure the jumper's set to S0. I'm shaking a little bit. My hands aren't the best. No, I don't do any drugs or alcohol, but there you go.
No, it doesn't.
Because that defines whether is it DF0? Let's test it. So that's set right anyway. Pin 1. Make sure pin 1. Well, pin 1 on the floppy or hard drive connector is always nearest the power. So power's there. Pin 1's normally right next to it, but it would have like a D note, so it says pin 1 and 2 right there anyway.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Just see that.
Want a cup of tea? That's what I could do, really.
And yeah, if you want. Obviously, pin 1 is also the red stripe on your power or data lead, so you just see that on the other camera. These you can't get round the wrong way because they're keyed. It's got a clip underneath, and they normally push on the bottom. Well, they will push on the bottom like that. And again, don't force it because the key's not perfect, so you can get it up the wrong way. So we have the Amiga 1.3 screen ready to go. We got the Gotek connected.
This up. Yes.
I will post some info on how we set this up, but any USB stick, I mean, I think it's 8 gig max. Correct me on that, I'm not too sure, but all you need is a selector.adf in the bottom, so, or in the root of the USB stick. Put it in the drive, and it should come up like this. There you go. So that 000, it means it's ready. It can find selector. And if I reboot now,
do you want me to turn
it'll go straight onto the selector part of the USB stick. So it'll read that ADF. So it's basically a disk image that the Gotek reads and brings up a menu, so you can select what disk that you put in. You can. There's no point talking about it because it's complicated. So I'll reconnect the keyboard. So this is the selector ADF. This only comes on when you've selected 000 on a Gotek in their LCD display. 001 up to 999 will select whatever disk that you've put in each one of them numbered slots. So 01, you could put a Monkey Island in there, first disk. 02 could be disk 2 of Monkey Island.
Yeah, 12 disc, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. It is a bit cumbersome because it still emulates the speed of DF0. It's not faster and it's not slower, it's bang on. So you still got disk swapping, but it's not as cumbersome. You just flick the buttons up and down on it and you select, again, wherever your discs are, so 01 or with them two little buttons. So instead of talking about it, let's do it. So all I'm going to do is I'm scrolling down the joypad. These are the directories I made on the PC. So utilities, my Octamed samples, Mega Mix Master. I've got benchmarking so you can do your benchmarking software. A lot of the tech guys use that for benchmarking the TF328s and whatnot at the moment. Workbenches, 3.1204, games. Again, I wouldn't use if you've not got the original software, then don't use it because it's obviously piracy. But you know,
well, these aren't already on it, no.
This is what I had on the USB.
Is this your USB? This is your USB.
This is my USB stick that I've already made. Like I say, when you look at the root directory, if I go back again. Selector ADF should be in the bottom all the time. You can't put it in a directory. It's got to be in the root of the USB stick. If you haven't got that, it's not going to work. Right. I can put a link to that in the video anyway. So just format a USB stick, FAT16 or FAT32. Put selector ADF in there and fill it up with whatever ADFs you want. So if I go to games, you've got to hit a disc or select a disc before you get the slots up where you want to put the disc in. So if I hit disc 1 Alien Breed 2, then you get the selector and you can see what slots, well, what slots you can put it in. So up and down, I mean you could go all the way to 999 with up and down, but if you do left and right, it's a fast page per page. So yes, it's quite powerful really for what it is. So I'll stick in between Syndicate, I'll stick in slot 3 Alien Breed 2 disc 1. So that's set now. If I reboot the computer and went to slot 3, that'll load up Alien Breed 2. So let's do that. So save and restart. Now it'll reboot, so go up to 3 and let it load. It should start loading. Again, if you've got the sound mod, you'll hear this. You'll hear the disc doing a seek, but Jamie's not got the sound mod yet, so
one step at a time.
Exactly, exactly.
So what happens if you start a game? Say it's got 3 discs, and you've only put 1 or 2, and you've forgotten to put the 3rd disc in. Can you?
Yeah, just reboot back into the selector.
But if you're halfway through the game and it asks for disc 3, can you then come out, put disc 3 on in that time?
No, that's the only thing with it. Right. Try and prop this up. All right. Anyway, well, you know it's on. You know it's on slot 3.
I'll tell you what. I'll hold it up. I'll just keep it held up.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's just an example. So at least it's running. The Gotek's running, so we're ready to do the mod. I'll just do another one for you. So if I reboot, it's still slot 3. Alien Breed 2 again. What was it? Syndicate was in slot 1, wasn't it? So if I go down to 1, reboot.
So what size memory stick is this?
I think that's an 8 gig. Yeah. Well, no, that one's only 400 or 512 meg, which is still a lot of floppy disks. So there you go, that's running.
Boom.
Let's do the mod.
Burger King and onion ring.
So yeah, all the guts going to be taken out. It's just that board there, and all this is going to be taken out.
Cool.
So yeah, that's the next thing. So let's get into that.
Awesome.
See you in a minute. Your face when I was showing that off, your face, you was like, "Fuck me, this is awesome." I might leave this in the video. Look at his little face. Hello. He loves it.
It's good. It's good.
It is a good bit of kit.
I mean, it's strange but exciting at the same time. Because it's one of those things, when you first got it, you never thought something like this would be possible. But it's only sort of recently, the last couple of years, where things have started to go wrong. I mean, the computer works fine. There's no issue with the computer whatsoever. It's just the games are not playing. There's a lot, and it's
Do you want to move up a bit?
It's just strange that after all this time I haven't adjusted them in any way, and all of a sudden they just say, right, that is it. I'm like 30 years old now or whatever, and that's it, my time's up.
It sounds like you're dying.
Doesn't it?
I think the LEDs I soldered in there last time. Straight into... I've took these LEDs out and I soldered straight into there. To extend them into this point. So that would go where these two LEDs are. That would be soldered into this point, or I could even go under the board and do it. So in those 4 spots. So we could do that. Yeah, the middle joint isn't used. I don't know if you can see that. But the 4 spots there, the middle one's slightly lower. It's not actually used, so it's the 2 outer joints there is each LED. I don't know if this camera's going to pick it up, but inside the LEDs, there's a small terminal and there's a large triangle terminal. The smaller one should be the positive leg. So the outer one of the left hand sides, they should be the positive ones. So there you go. As I was saying, if the LEDs weren't cut down, the longer leg would be the anode. But the only other way of, you know, showing you this is the smaller triangle inside the LED is the anode. So I'm going to mark where the posies are so you can't go wrong. I'm going to mark the negative because that's easier. Basically, we're going to warm these up and solder suck these out so we can put the wiring in for the LEDs, and we'll solder that back in. The LEDs will be on one of these, like we said earlier. So that's that taken up. So these are your switches. So you've got up and down. So you'd have one of these on here for your switches, which are going to be soldered onto these 4 points. And for your LEDs, again, I'll just show you quick, onto these 4 points. You've got two outers. The one in the middle isn't used. And your display, which is what I got wrong last time, comes off of this lead and goes onto these. So there's your display, the disk drive LEDs, which are those, and your switches for those, obviously. Yeah. That's how it is, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
But because that overlaps there like that, I don't like the way that's done. I insulated this point and I bent these up slightly, so I'll do that now. So just keeping that off the board. Yeah. And there's nothing to short out on that point. So I'm going to separate these, tin these, well, strip them back, tin them, ready for putting in the place of where the LEDs and the switches are at the moment. Take the switches and LEDs out, and solder them in. So bear with us and I'll get that done now. If you can't solder suck these off, just trim the legs of the LEDs. Stupid bloody soldering iron. So trim the legs of the LEDs. We've already marked where they go, so we know positive and negative. And So what you want to do is, you got legs left, so all you do is you hold onto the legs and pull them off as you hold the solder nine underneath. So, and then we'll solder suck them out. One. Two. Is it on camera?
Just. Not now. No. Yeah, should be on now.
I'm using some crap tools as well, and I'm sitting on the floor indoors, so that doesn't help.
I'm just sitting on the sofa.
That's it. Right. Should be a bit easier to suck these out. There you go. One. Two. Three. So that's the LEDs done. We've already marked up posi and neggy. Switches, I could mark that up. I'll do it on the other side. So negative, but again, switches don't have a common polarity depending on what switch they are. So I'm just going to feed in a little bit of new solder just to activate. I hate this iron. I should have brought my Weller up. You're still on screen?
Yes. Anyway,
I'll trim these down.
So what's the temperature of that then?
A lot.
Hot. That's extremely hot.
This isn't my finest soldering.
Keep that in mind.
So you want these trimmed down as far as you can go. So you only want a couple of mil on these. So the switches will have to come from that side. Yeah, because I wrapped it back over and it come back round. So that will come from there, and it will wrap under there like that into them switch holes, but directly underneath it. So like that sort of.
Would you like a cup of coffee?
No, I'm okay, thanks.
Would you like a cup of tea?
So basically, straight round into that point, which I'm just about to do. No, I'm alright, thanks.
Water?
Nope.
Milk?
Nope.
Anything?
No.
To drink?
I'm cool.
He's all good.
And I'll leave a bit of length on there anyway, because you can play, you can give it a move about. Right. So I would have trimmed it right down so it goes straight into there, but you ain't going to have any play, so I'll just leave the length on it.
Yeah.
Do you want to hold that there like that for a sec?
Hold this bit?
Just the top bit.
Yeah. See my eyebrows.
Right, go on.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I helped. I helped for 0.1%.
that's there. So we've not got a lot of lead hanging out at the bottom. Don't want a lot of lead hanging out the bottom.
Tea? Coffee?
Beer? Thanks. Yeah, actually.
He's got a beer in the fridge.
I'll have a beer.
It's amazing, isn't it? He doesn't turn down alcohol. He turns down...
It's Saturday night, so...
Saturday. Time to drink beer. Hang on.
Well, I didn't even hear you open the fridge. That was weird. So I'm just literally going along these points. That's not right. Oh, hang on, that's an earth. Right, okay, so that's probably the worst bit over. You could check for shorts between there. Quick. Never trust anyone else's soldering.
Definitely wouldn't trust mine.
That's quite far, so that's alright. That looks pretty good. Good.
What are those two buttons?
Test the switches. You can test the switches with the same thing. So you should have nothing until you push the switch. Yeah, see the battery's running out. Right, so that's working. What else? So this board, it's a bit of a weird one. You've got JK, which is this line here. So this line of 3 here, that's JK. Okay. And the ones underneath are J7. So J7's under there, JK's here. Now these plugs correspond to that. So you've just got to match up J7 to JK on that board there. So you got that there. JK, J7. You're not having a beer?
No, that's your beer. I've got tea. Cheers.
This is for all the Amiga crew. Amiga!
This is for me. Cup of tea for me.
JK should go, I gather, the red's the yellow and the white's the blue. Again, you can't really mess this up because you just won't get any display. That goes onto there like that. You plug your USB in. That comes around there. Now your pins that we done earlier, there you go. See, it's all starting to overlap now. Which again, that's why I bent them pins. And you can see that. Just keep it off the board.
Clever clogs.
And that's not going to short out because once that plastic is over them pins here, it should be alright. So what's that? They're the switches. So the switches, so down's here, so that'll be there. Is that pulled out? These are your LEDs. So green is this side. Green is this side here. It's got it on the board, and red is this side here. Okay, so you probably will need to flip this over. Green, red. which might be a problem because then green flips over, cathode's that side. Yeah, it should be right. These aren't fitting on that well. It should be it. But the only other thing is this. This is the tricky bit. You've got to unsolder this, or have you? No, you haven't. What you've got to do is these standoffs now. That's got to go in there, and where that connected to, that on this LCD. They now go in, that now goes into there, so that goes through there, like so. But because it's reverse, which is where another tricky bit is, you see the standoffs at the wrong way, they're going through the bottom. Yeah, so it's not making any contact. You see that? So that's got to go through there, but these are round the wrong way. So if I put that against there, try and get the camera to see that. It's hard to explain, but so it's got to be round the other way because these have got to be soldered into this point. And then that goes flush, but they're hanging down this way. So what I did is heated up each one and pushed it all the way through and then soldered it. What you could do is just unsolder the lot or pull the pins out and do it, but I found my way to be a bit quicker. Let's have a go. So they're pushed through the other side now from that side. It's a bit messy, but that's the quickest and easiest way. I've just got to tidy up them pins and shorten them down. Hang on a minute. Quite happy with that. Get it as flush as you can and then solder it in. Stupid tip. Right. Over here. They do fly.
Okay. You might be suitable for it.
Bit of isopropyl, clean all the flux off.
Bingo. I said bingo, it looks good from here. Go on, have a drink of Bud.
Let's clear the desk. This is what it should look like after you've finished. Something similar to that.
Looks good from here.
I'll show you the underneath. You see it sort of overlaps in the gaps. But when we put the standoffs inside the Amiga, it should sit where it wants, especially when we put all the legs on, all these and whatnot. So that's the reinforcement.
So what's this bit for then?
That's a power up to that.
Ah.
Oh God, I'm gonna...
Your legs must be dead.
Yeah, they ache. So...
Welcome back.
Yeah. It's a pain in the arse that, because it's making sure everything's done right and all that. So these plugs here, if you ever get yours, these plugs here are bloody useless. Mine were alright, but for some reason these aren't working. They just slip off, so I'm going...
So now you go in one way, yeah?
Yeah, what I'm going to do is solder them straight to the board. Typical.
Mine's been a long time due. Got it in the 90s, 2018 is when it needs doing. Ooh, phone's been nuts.
Okay, so there you go.
Legs are in a pain.
So there you go, guys. That's what it looks like now. Right, that's fine, brilliant.
Off?
Okay. Yeah, go on. Fuck me, can't believe that.
Are you gonna cut
that was not good. I don't know. Right, we just had a bit of a, I don't know what went on there, but...
You might even catch it on the playback.
Well, yeah, we had an IC fall off the back of the LED panel, and I've just had to solder it on.
And it worked.
I can't believe that. And it was smoking as well, this one here. that fell off the board. I don't know if there was a short on the leg or what, but it started smoking, so I killed the power. It might have even got it on camera, but we're now going to mount this inside the Amiga, so I'm probably going to put a bit of tape over that. But that sits outside the case anyway, so it should be alright. I'll still put a bit of tape over it. I'll tack over. Okay, so a bit of an oversight. You really want to watch this, but to get this through on a 500, these have got to come off, and your USB's got to come out. And again, an oversight from me. Don't solder these yet. Don't solder them pins yet. There. Because you've got to get that through the disk drive on the A500. The USB goes through first, but you'll see how thick it is. It's quite a thick unit, so if you watch, USB through first. You're going to do that, are you? Then slot that through carefully, and that sits about there. That goes back round through there, just to give it a bit of support. Hang on, no, I've done that wrong. Right, that goes through that way and plugs back into that, and these plug back into your display. And I marked both ends of these up, taking these out, but again you can follow the you'll see that so JK is this side, which goes to the top half of your LED display on here, and J7, this side, goes to the bottom half. And yours might be marked up different. So these marked up yellow and blue, but these are red and white. So just watch that. And again, I've bought these off the board, so they're not going to short. You want to be careful because there isn't a lot of room between that and that. So I think with Jamie's, there wasn't a lot of room in a 1200, but I'm going to pull this away from here with Jamie so we don't get any disasters. Just so it's away and it's not going to short. And it actually mounts to this side of the board, this side of the plastic. So just got to solder this up, mount this, and away we go.
Boom. There we go.
Shakalak.
That's the word. We couldn't think the rest. Boom shakalaka.
That's sweet. Let's just do another continuity test, make sure there's no shorts. Okay.
All good?
Yeah. So now I'm going to mount these. Yeah, see these are a little bit bigger, so, well, than the Gotek holes here, so you're going to need to take one side off. It's alright. It holds, I remember now.
It's all coming back now. Way! Not even in the cup. That'll be a good shot.
I just want to put a bit of tape across there. Just in case. Just in case. Possibly along there. Okay, right. And there she goes.
Ooh. Shakalaka. That's how it's done, baby. And I haven't done a thing. I've just sat here the whole time.
It's a bit of a project, but yeah, it can be done. Yeah, I put some tape around this area.
Let's pad it out.
So, what we're going to do, people, because
double-sided tape.
This is a lot different to the 1200.
Let me hold that. Let me do something useful.
We're going to tape this across. So this got going first. Because that actually goes under the heat shield, that's why it's so long.
What's that one?
Sort of flips round. So this is the data cable and that power. Again, this is in your instructions, you can't get this wrong. So number one's furthest to the right, which is red on the cable, and red is furthest to the right again on the power cable. Then yeah, go for it.
That's going to help us out.
That heat shield goes on without cutting into any cable. This is a lot different to the 1200. A lot different. The expansion earth that goes under this heat shield. It's also an earthing point for the expansion, and don't get it round the wrong way either, you'll end up shorting your board out. So they go in.
I'm guessing you've probably seen clips or videos of that, so to know that that's what it can do. I'm guessing there's probably been videos of.
Well, no, if you put it round the wrong way, you'll see it is, and you'll think, no, that's not good. Just put that in so it's not gripping too much, because the other sides. So you can wiggle it about if this side needs a bit of clay. See, they're aligned. They're practically there. Old Commodore fashion. Then tighten these up, making sure they're not touching any of the expansion fingers. He's going.
So what's the bit you were saying about that plugs into the Gotek that give it the like the sound of it loaded? What's that thing called then?
That connects to one of your data lines here.
Yeah, that's just a simple plug-in, is it?
It's a little speaker that's soldered on. Yeah.
Right.
It's pulling away a little bit.
Yeah.
The keyboard's got to go in. Hold that. Yeah, it's okay. Right, it's not actually touching any cables or pushing into any cables. It's pushing out the case a little bit. Let it go. Because there's a lot of cabling in there. But that should be alright. I mean, that you'd just be... So it's okay. So anyway, here we go. Let's just double check it's all working. Just want to just select something. It's obviously working, but yeah, that's okay. Let's reboot. I'll go to number 1. We'll listen to a chip tune on Syndicate. Again, Jamie's not got the sound mod, so...
Nah, not yet. Yeah. One step at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great. I mean, it's going to take some getting used to because I've been using discs for so long. But hopefully they won't break. Obviously, you know, discs are not lasting forever. And some have lasted more than others, but this is what everyone's doing now. This is the way forward.
We haven't got a mouse, so let's just... I'll plug this into another port. Just, oh, here you go, it's loading anyway. So there you go. All good.
Syndicate.
So yeah, thanks to Jamie.
What are you thanking me for? What did I do? I sat here and done nothing. I made you a cup of coffee. I opened your beer for you. I plugged in a few things. I put things in the wrong slots.
I can sit back now.
And I've been sitting here for I don't know how long, watching you work your fingers to the bone, getting really bad legs by sitting on the floor, burning yourself once on the soldering.
We've been recording for 4 hours and 21 minutes, so I'm going to need a bit of editing. So yeah, right. Thanks a lot.
Excellent job.
Yeah, and the laptop camera's not been too bad, so...
Big thanks to Anthony from Riot Retro Gaming.
Thank you.
The man, the legend. But yeah, he's done it.
See you later, guys.
See you later, people.
Riot Retro Gaming. Wednesdays, 9 GMT.